Уважаемые коллеги,
Dear colleagues, it's time to start our topical discussion panel, which we dedicate to the issues of organizing and protection of investments in Russia of our foreign partners and Organization of Islamic Cooperation in particular. And today we have gathered here to highlight a few main streams of cooperation between entrepreneurs and investors of our countries. And so we invited a few outstanding experts, experienced experts who would shed light on these issues. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dmitry Kurochkin, and I'm Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Russian Federation. And I have an honor to lead our today's round table. What is our CCI of the Russian Federation? So we don't actually attract investments. It's actually the responsibility of the government and the regional leaderships. We are a business community organization which embraces all the Russian constituents, and we have faced a lot of issues related to investment attraction. And one of the first solutions and decisions of the CCI of the Russian Federation, Mr. Sergei Katyrin, in 2011, when he became the president of this organization, we created a project for investment attraction and reception for regional branch associations, which actually comprise the structure of CCI of the Russian Federation. Mostly there are two streams of investments from regions to potential investors, and from potential investors to particular regions, municipalities, for particular enterprises. For us, it's principally important that all of this information would be available and known for our partners in Islamic countries, and up to today, the share of Islamic countries in Russia, Islamic countries' investments in Russia was about 20%. And today we have quite interesting opportunities for improving and increasing this share for the account of those enterprises which formerly belonged to unfriendly countries' leadership or management. And due to this unprecedented sanction pressure and unstable conditions we are facing today, the investment activity in Russia not only didn't go down, but even increased in general. And we reached this due to systemic measures implemented both across the country as a whole and in the particular regions for the account of creating favorable investment climate in the regions. First Vice Premier Andrei Belousov is in charge of this work, and this is a systemic work, very actively promoted, and it brings first fruits right now. And so, not long ago, we have approved a law about partner investment, shared investment with Islamic countries. First of all, it is Tatarstan, Bashkortostan, Chechen Republic were included as pilot territories. It is a very interesting and prospective stream, and on the basis of SBIR, they had conducted a meeting dedicated to this issue, so we will not refer to it in much detail. So our goal is that our partners would receive the relevant information about current state of the investment opportunities that are opened in their countries. And first of all, I'd like to give the floor to President of the Annual Investment Forum in UAE, United Arab Emirates, Mr. Daoud Al-Shazavi. I would say that as I began working on this direction in our CCI of the Russian Federation, our first event in implementation of our project was Dubai Investment Forum. So that's why it is quite symbolic that Mr. Shazavi will open up our today's session. Thank you so much, and have the floor, please.
I would like to thank you, Mr. Dimitri. We have been working together since more than, I believe, 13, 14 years, and we have seen the growth, of your activities in the chamber, and how basically you try to look into issues and link the private businesses with the markets. And I'm here, to really congratulate you, Your Excellency Dimitri, with your colleagues on that. The annual investment meeting has been established in the year 2010 in the United Arab Emirates, initially in Dubai and now in Abu Dhabi. And we have established this platform as a linkage between the markets and the countries to basically, support governments and support corporations to attract investment. It's not only for UAE, but it's hosted by UAE, but it's today we are working in 173 countries where we work like the chambers, try to basically, represent investors, represent governments, represent organizations to basically promote the investment opportunities in different sectors. I'm very glad to look into how we can discuss issues related to investment and trade and the protection of investment, in different countries, either in Russia or in CIS countries. We are very happy to see that basically the challenges that been faced during, this geopolitical time, it's been an opportunity for a lot of market expansion, and it's been basically an opportunity for a lot of businesses and decision makers in how to think to create, a sustainable investment and sustainable market within the country. Today, I think, through the issues that we have faced recently, we are, working in different way, especially in a partnership with a lot of organizations in Russia, in terms of trying to look into new markets, how to expand these markets. So we are very, I think, with the strategic relation that we have with Russia, we are very keen, and we are very happy of the development that's happened in terms of, the business relation, and how basically the investors have been shifting, from region to region and from market to market. I go back to annual investment meeting. What is the role of annual investment meeting? Annual investment meeting is not anymore an event. It's more of an institute now, where basically we look into the investment impact and social impact and environmental impact on an investment. We work with our partners worldwide, try to basically, develop the know-how to try to basically enrich our investors, our organization, into learning steps and how to basically, invest in different markets. So we are here basically to support, the chamber and other partners toward this mission.
Большое спасибо.
Thank you so much. It was a very interesting information. Just in case, I would like to remind our participants that we have our schedule set up to 5 to 7, maybe up to 10 minutes for each speaker. We have about 60 minutes remained in our program. And now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Vladimir Gamza, Chairman of the Council of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Russian Federation for Financial, Industrial and Investment Policy, who will tell us about the work they conduct within their profile council.
Dear Dmitry, dear foreign guests and colleagues, hello. I ask you to turn on my presentation. Thank you. I would like to tell you about one very serious sector for investment and for cooperation with foreign countries. The next slide, please. In 2020, the Russian president issued a decree, famous one, about the national aims of developing Russia and put the goal to move the country onto the technological way of development. Last year and at the beginning of this year, the president clarified the goals, and the main one today is to restore technological sovereignty of the country and increasing the industrial potential. Next slide, please. The situation that we have is like this. The scope of investment into the fixed fund for the last year is at the level of 17–18% of the GDP. That's not enough for the development, for the serious development of the industry. And the second issue is the structure of the investments. In the developed countries of the world, 2/3 of the investments into the fixed funds provide for the financial market. Unfortunately, in Russia, it is completely vice versa. Almost 2/3 of the investments are the funds of the companies. Unfortunately, banks that are credit and deposit organizations in Russia don't invest into projects and provide for less than 10% in the scope of the fixed capital, fixed funds. At the same time, they have 80% of the whole financial market. Next, please. As a result, Russia, for the last 30 years, lost its industrial potential. It became 2 times less. Nowadays, it is around 100 trillions rubles. A big scope must be renovated. A high level of wear and a small level of changing them into new ones. This is why we need a completely new approach to developing the industry. Actually, we can say that we need a
Для того, чтобы не только остановить сокращение промышленности, но и выйти на достаточно высокий рост, требуется ежегодно вкладывать в основной капитал более 10 триллионов рублей. Я не слышу перевод. И осуществлять редевелопмент, новое строительство в объеме более 20 миллионов квадратных метров промышленных площадей. Последний год, примерно год, торгово-промышленная палата совместно с правительством работали над созданием таксономии технологического развития страны через реализацию проектов в формате проектного финансирования. И не далее, как 15 апреля, месяц назад, председатель правительства подписал постановление, которым запущена процедура финансирования таких инвестиционных проектов. Дальше, пожалуйста. У нас нет никаких сомнений, что Россия справится с этой задачей новой индустриализации, потому что у нас есть огромный опыт проведения индустриализации России в прошлом веке. За 40 лет, примерно с 1930 по 1970 год, было построено около 30 тысяч крупных промышленных предприятий. И этот опыт и возможности России, они говорят как раз о том, что мы сегодня совершенно точно можем осуществить такую индустриализацию. И торгово-промышленная палата уже более 2 лет активно занимается реализацией федерального проекта промышленной реновации производственных предприятий. Дальше, пожалуйста. То, что эта задача промышленной реновации сегодня является ключевой, объективно говорят статистические данные. Несколько лет Росстат ведет оценку основных направлений развития производственных предприятий. И на первом месте, причем с ростом, стоит необходимость замены старого оборудования, формирования новой технологии индустрии 4.0. И именно это подтверждает то, что мы на правильном пути, и абсолютно правильная задача президент поставил в 2020 году в своем указе. Дальше, пожалуйста. Сама реновация производственных предприятий включает в себя 5 элементов. Это системная оценка, это формирование проекта, это редевелопмент производственных площадей, реинжиниринг технологий и обеспечение финансирования всего. Наш опыт показывает, что вот эти 5 ключевых элементов могут быть реализованы либо в совокупности комплексно, либо в отдельности для тех или иных предприятий. Дальше, пожалуйста. Ну и теперь об основных задачах, которые сегодня стоят, которые необходимо нам решить для того, чтобы реализовать те серьезные установки президента в его указе, и чтобы на самом деле реализовать те задачи, которые поставлены премьер-министром в указе прошлого месяца. Нам необходимо решить следующие задачи, применить следующие меры поддержки инвестиций в промышленную модернизацию. На первом месте стоит формирование национальной программы промышленной реновации, которая бы позволила реализовать вот эту самую таксономию по инвестиционным проектам. Необходимо совершенно точно целый блок бюджетно-налоговой и таможенно-тарифной политики для защиты тех производителей, которые будут осуществлять модернизацию. Необходимо создать систему общефедеральных, отраслевых и региональных институтов развития для реализации отраслевых и региональных программ. Нужна четкая модель проектного финансирования для институтов развития. Нужно перестроить работу региональных и муниципальных форматов финансирования. И сегодня эта работа активно ведется. Региональный инвестиционный стандарт начинает работать. И инвестиции требуется еще система развития тех инструментов, которые сегодня есть. Это и государственные гарантии, поручительство, система СПИК контрактов, контракты с АЗПК, государственное и частное страхование, перестрахование. Ну и самое главное, необходимо, чтобы Банк России сегодня сформировал специальное регулирование, обеспечивающее проектное финансирование. Ну и в заключение нам крайне нужен единый государственный информационно-консультационный портал по всем планируемым и реализуемым инвестиционным проектам. Спасибо за внимание.
Большое спасибо, Владимир Андреевич. Очень интересные предложения. Они войдут в проект нашей резолюции. Кстати, он уже подготовлен. Я могу всем дать посмотреть для того, чтобы мы совместно доработали уже окончательную версию. А сейчас я хотел бы предоставить слово нашему иранскому коллеге. Вчера именно в этом зале наш президент...
Yesterday in this hall, our president, Katirin, moderated a platform dedicated to Russia-Iran economic cooperation that is nowadays becoming active, and we, as one of the main partners in Iran, is Iran-Russia Chamber of Commerce. We would like to give the floor to Mr. Hadi Tizhush-Daban, President of the Iran-Russia Joint Chamber of Commerce, Islamic Republic of Iran. Please, the floor is yours. Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for organizing this event and for the opportunity to hold a speech here. Iran, thanks to its economic, cultural, and geographical opportunities and potential due to its geopolitical realities, is considered one of the most important countries in the region, located in the center of communication and transport routes of Eurasia. This geographic region, for connecting the countries of Eurasia with the open waters and the outside world, especially with the Islamic world, has a special position, and we know that all countries are trying to establish stable trade and economic relations in their region with developing and powerful countries in strategic positions. It should be noted that the geopolitical realities of countries, including geographic location, historical and cultural commonalities, relations with other countries, and etc., play a central role in establishing these links. Considering and study of trade and economic relations of Iran's with CIS countries also confirm that these relations have always been influenced by the geopolitical realities of the region. Regarding this introduction, it seems like a good time to take advantage of this unique position and feature of the Islamic Republic of Iran, given the developments, given the events in the region. The Islamic Republic of Iran can play the role of a link between the Islamic countries of the regions with the Russian Federation and other countries of CIS region, and become a base and place for development of their trade and economic relations. It is a fact that a number of landlocked Islamic countries have to bear exorbitant costs for the transfer of export goods or access to the imported goods they need. Our country, thanks to its strategic location and its location on the route of the Silk Road and the North-South corridor, is ready to provide maximum assistance to neighboring countries and members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in moving their goods through the transit route of Iran. Given the importance of foreign trade in the world economy and taking into account the fact that all the countries with the highest economic growth in the world also have a high share in the world trade, OIC member countries must necessarily work together to develop trade among themselves and remove barriers, plan and develop a long-term strategy to achieve this goal. In this regard, the Free Trade and Industrial Zone and ZLE can play a key role in investments and the development of commercial relations in the region, due to the existing business platforms and infrastructure, as well as tax, customs, and special legal benefits. This port area is located in various trade corridors, of which Nostruk is one of the most important and plays a central role in connecting the CIS and Islamic countries of the region. In addition, the countries mentioned can use the legal opportunities of this zone for investment and benefit from this region as a bridge to carry out and develop their economic and commercial activities. Of course, there are some benefits that we give to these organizations. They can use other benefits that are given there by the states, and that's why I would like to say the relationship of Iran and Russia supports us, and in creating and formulating a route for import and export to lower the costs and help all the entrepreneurs and business. Thank you a lot for the opportunity. Thank you very much. The information is very interesting and useful that we will, of course, take into consideration. I told you at the beginning that we pay a lot of attention into investment appealing, but also to Islamic finances and its principles. One of the regions is Bashkortostan Republic, but that's not its only role. It's one of the most important industrial and financial regions of our country, and CCI of the Republic of the Bashkortostan is one of the best in our system. That's why we would like to give a floor to Timur Hakimov, President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Republic of Bashkortostan. Please, the floor is yours. Hello, Dmitry. Hello, dear members of the forum. Salam alaikum. I'm happy to greet you all here. Today's topic for our discussion is extremely important for our Muslim Republic as well, for industrial agricultural region. This is where we understand very good the timeliness of this issue, of supporting, of protecting the investment projects. Nowadays, sanctions imposed on the business and the situation as it is, the situation with our country, pushes our plants and companies to open their branches in the countries of OIC. Of course, our investors want some guarantees, safety, and we are the biggest business union of the region. We are the leaders on finding investments, and we're always in the top 5. And at the same time, we have a lot of rich plants and companies, investors, people who always come to the CCI. They are all our members, and we always discuss the question of opening the plants on the territory of some other country.
So this is an unprecedented situation, HR, capital-wise, and today I would like to dwell upon this issue a little bit more, because it is a very important point for our enterprises to consider. We as a social organization, we understand that we have some peculiarities, and it's quite, it is more simple to work for us now, because we work closely with CCI, and our collaboration actually is goes under patronage of the prime ministers of both countries. So that's why it simplifies our efforts and helps us a lot in reaching our goals. As I mentioned, we have one of the leading positions in the rating, and in St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, it was mentioned that investment package for today, the 1st of January this year, it was 732 billion rubles allocated, and we have the first place according to the dynamic of economic growth. So this new team and our new approach that we have taken are really leading us to actual result. We open new enterprises in farming, agricultural sector, HR's supply, and currently we also consider, and we have it in our agenda, a few more important decisions that are going to be approved related to legislation of Bashkortostan Republic. Our best practice, which is highly appreciated by our specialists is called investment hours. We remove all the barriers and obstacles so we can have. So the head of the republic personally takes his personal participants, and after that, all ministries taking these decisions and actually implement them and put them into life. Of course, I would like to mention about our unique tool in the system of international courts. This is ICAC, International Commercial Arbitration Court. There are a lot of political issues and considering sanctions, and structurally this organization is working pretty well, and we resolve disputes even with unfriendly countries. Because International Commercial Arbitration Court's decisions are actually taken into account by both inside the Russian Federation and foreign countries. And of course, today we are discussing a lot of issues related to Islamic banking. This is also important to us all. There are some skeptical opinions, but we stay in such a position that we are an Islamic republic, and we will review all the projects and all of those of them which fit the number of criteria. So we have an agreement about that, and so we believe that we will be able to work successfully in this direction. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you, Timur Hakimov. It's very interesting information, not only for our participants, but for me as well. I have heard a lot about these efforts you conduct. Now I would like to give the floor to our Eurasian Economic Union, Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyz Republic, Mr. Atam Ikramov. Kyrgyz and Kazakhstan, Belarus, Armenia. We unite our efforts and we've got a joint project office to support industrial cooperation, and we believe that this will have very important consequences for drawing investments into our territories. And I would like to take advantage of this possibility to thank our colleagues for conducting this work. And now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Mikhail Tomasov, head of the representative office of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Kyrgyz Republic in the Russian Federation. Dear Dmitry, dear speakers and colleagues, hello everyone, and that's how we say it in Kyrgyz. Salam alaikum. This is our cultural closeness. So we have such unifications like Shanghai Cooperation Organization, CIS, and considering current transformational events, Kyrgyz Republic, considering its geographical position, is more and more attractive, and sometimes in some sense, it is unique for foreign investors. And if we would say it in one sentence, Kyrgyzstan is an oasis of investments along the Silk Road. Thank you for this opportunity, and I would like to briefly dwell upon attractiveness of Kyrgyz Republic. We are actively involved in improving the investment climate in our country, and we take certain measures to attract more and more investments into Kyrgyzstan. But to preserve investments and ensure the return on investment, it is one of the most crucial goal for our organization. So the agency provides a number of services in the framework of the program of attracting investments in our country. And one of the main documents regulating investment activity in our country is the law on international investments in Kyrgyz Republic. And it defines our country obtaining the priority mode in certain territories and certain industries within Kyrgyz Republic. So all other territories except for Bishkek are preferential populated areas, and all of these areas are provided with certain benefits according to this law. So the investor can apply to international arbitration courts if something goes south. They actually have the right to receiving dividends and profits, and we have institutional mechanisms aimed to profitable work. What mechanisms are in place for providing the protection of capital and investments? There are certain tax incentives and benefits, lower taxes, land preferences for investment projects. It can include decreasing the rent or at some point financial support. The state is providing financial support to investment projects through subsidies, grants, preferential loans, creating special economic zones. There are 4 free economic zones within the Republic, and there is a possibility as well to open or to found the business with simplified conditions. There are private partnerships which works in a certain preference mode. There are benefits by industries as well. Let's take the renewable energy sector. There is a great potential in Kyrgyz Republic for building hydro energy stations. And as a state, we have approved a law about renewable energy, and we decreased the taxes. We have revoked customs taxes, and after such an enterprise, if it is already constructed, they have special conditions for the energy being bought by the government at 1.3 from the basic price. So CCI consults businesses, and we are very interested in collaborating with investors. So I would like to dwell on a few priority directions: logistics, agricultural products processing, hydro energy, tourism, mining, and light industry. And especially would like to emphasize that we have priority investment projects defined by each one of these industries. We actually invite investors to cooperate with us, and we are interested and will be glad to cooperate with you. So if you would like to preserve your capital and multiply it, invest in Kyrgyz Republic, I will be very glad to share this information, in particular regarding any of these projects. And thanks a lot again to warm-hearted Kazan. And now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Tom Genkin, a member of our council of the Chamber of Commerce and Investors of Industries of the Russian Federation. And one of the really important issues is protecting the rights of investors, as Artem already, and Artem will tell us about this in more detail. Thank you very much, organizers and organizers of our session, CCI of the Russian Federation, for having this opportunity to address with this short speech to you. So, protecting of private investments in the Russian Federation is a very important point. And during last year, many of us and World Bank and other financial organizations, in spite of sanction pressure on the Russian economy, investment activity demonstrated growth. So if we take the December report of the central bank, we see that annual growth, which had been shown, it's like 6%. So we have changed connections, economic ties, and federal and regional measures of support were put into practice. And so we have observed growth of the market in certain areas after leaving after a few unfriendly companies have left our territory. So the losses we have observed was about $240 billion when the companies left our territory. Probably this is just an estimate. Probably the real figure is even bigger. And what I would like to pay your attention to, direct investments in the Russian Federation. What do we view as direct investments is like 10% and more in the capital of the company, and further buying shares. So according to these statistics, more than 40.4, it was about 5%. We see Qatar, Kazakhstan, United Arab Emirates. So this is about 5%. This is a very small figure in our current geopolitical situation. So this is a window of opportunity, so to speak, to invest in our country today. And we have implemented more than 300 measures related to finances and investments in our country within the last year. Leasing, fines, simplification procedures, mutual relationship development and many other directions. So I would like to especially touch on two tools. First of them is agreement on protection and promotion of capital investments. It was approved in 2020 and in the fall of 2022 it was renewed and detailized. So what is interesting in this mechanism? It guarantees the stabilization approach for investors. For example, fiscal conditions for investor during the pretty long time, 6, 10, and more years, up to 6 more years, and favorable conditions for loans from 50 to 100% for a supporting structure if it is related to construction of the property related to the infrastructural object. For example, if you improved the conditions, connected resources and infrastructure, so this may be fully compensated to the investor. I won't tell about this in much detail, but actually it is more related to implementation of modern technologies. And another one, which is called CZPK, so it guarantees new workplaces and new tax submissions. So what we have also arranged some tax benefits which implied the decline in taxes at some specific items down to 0%.
The next moment, the offset agreements and contracts. I consider them to be more suitable for protection of interest of foreign investors. The scope of investment is smaller, and the minimum scope of investment from the one side is up to 100 billion rubles. But these contracts are long-term that can have stages of putting the investment. This contract includes such point that the investor is obliged to create an industrial project or provide for the scope of the goods for the price agreed before or for the quality agreed before, and create jobs with the necessary job circumstances and in the right time. That's a full life cycle. From the contract that were realized for today, the 3 regions are interesting: Moscow region, and Bashkortostan. They can tell you how these contracts are realized because they have the experience there. As the experts forecast, we await for many new offset agreements, but the main champion right now is Moscow. In the field of child food, for example, 7 offset agreements. That's the information for the March. Maybe right now we will see an increase there. As for the offset agreements, there is a desire of a business And I think that federal bodies will support this to create something in new fields, medical industry, food, services, transport, energy, and highly technological products, car building. Then it is a way to protect the interests of investors. It will be even more perspective and interesting. As for the perspective, as you can see, just as the paradox that I told you already, the dynamic is positive, but then what is awaited is also positive. The survey conveyed in December shows that 26% of Russian companies planned to increase their investments. The positive dynamics of investment in fixed capital, the increase in state investment, and in the region of import exchange, and creating new plants in our country. We are right now on the Islamic Forum, and I think it is a very interesting perspective for the investors from OIC region, that they can find an opportunity here and use it for the sake of their businesses. Thank you for the attention. Thank you very much, Artyom. I think this information is very useful for our foreign members and for Russians as well, since it is the most relevant and filtered for particular audience that we have today. Thank you a lot. And last but not least, I would like to give the floor to Anton Kiryanov, Director for Development of the company Alexandergrad Brownfield, that realizes a special project of CCI of the Russian Federation on industrial renovation. He will tell you about the peculiarities of this activity that is extremely important when realizing new investment industrial projects. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, and good afternoon. Good evening. My goal is to tell you about the special project created by the CCI called Brownfield Special Renovation Project. This project was created by the president of the CCI, Katerin, and was supported by the Russian Constructors Society. The committee was created on industrial construction and renovating of industrial plants and waste management. This united work has been carried out for the last 2 years or more, and we tackled the issues with getting ready the industrial sites for investment projects. When we started to look at what the Russian industry is, we looked back and saw that during the Soviet time, the Russian industry led to commission 2 plants every day, 2 large plants on the world standards of that time. That was the industrialization, and without developing the industry and the investment appeal of the country, it is almost impossible. And in order to develop the industry, support is needed. We need to prepare the sites, the platform for that. Nowadays, these companies need 70, 80, or 200 years, and they still function. The wear of these companies are 50% completely worn out, that do not function right now, is about 20%. This workshop can't be used, and we tell that the Russian industry is millions of square meters. Millions of them are completely worn out. Or unsafe. Right now we have millions of large or medium plants. The same situation in Uzbekistan. There around 10,000 large plants. Today we saw Kyrgyzstan from 700,000 plants. We have around 700 large, and almost the same situation in OIC countries. Maybe the ratio is different, but the situation is more or less the same. And if the industry today is like this, then tomorrow we will have millions of cubic meters of waste on our polygons. Because we are taught like that. If something is demolished or if we have waste, then what should we do with them, with this waste? So, the wear of the industrial fund is extremely high. These buildings will still stand, but then tomorrow, in 10 years, for sure, we will have a huge tsunami of demolishing these buildings, because we understand that we need to get rid of these worn-out buildings if we don't do anything with that. That's why we realized and prepared a project. The main idea of this project is to demolish these buildings and to get rid of the waste. We realized more than 10 projects in the frame of the order of this project. The first one, the services of these projects were used, or we helped to the federal power bodies in Kemero region. They had an elevator in the field about 50 meters height. It was socially important. People were playing there, and it was a big problem for the head of the region. There was some posts in the social network, but the main idea is that they didn't have money in the budget to do anything about that. But when, please pay attention, when we need to realize such a project, then in 90% of that all, we realized this project with no money from the region. In this case, money didn't spend even a ruble on realizing this project. And then please pay attention to the amount of waste that is created by this demolition. And probably the trucks will come, will have all this waste, and will move it to the waste fill. And if it goes to polygon, to this waste polygon, then you can't do anything with it, because it then together with bananas, with some waste, with other goods, what can you do with that? You can't even recycle it. So you should spend even more money for all that. That's absurd. What can you do about it? You can demolish it all with no money. You can save the nature, and you can use all this waste again, like recycle, to make a new project out of that. You can use it for the second time. And this situation, believe me, happens on the territory of our neighboring countries. We were there. They have the same story completely. Today, we had discussion with Mikhail. We discussed the first steps in Kyrgyzstan, and please, I would like to draw our Iran's colleagues' attention that we can do this. CCI has the opportunity to complete this task as a part of the commercial sector. PAO MNK, metallurgy company, the biggest in the world, such plants as MNK Metis, they had 60 buildings there. What options did they have? To hire a demolition company to demolish everything. Commercial demolition is around $250 million, and then these trucks will go, well, somewhere, at the best to the polygon. Spoil disposal. But when we did it, this project, they recycled all the waste, and they have a special site where it is all stored. So the economy of cost for the plant was enormous. I have almost finished. Look, please, at the situation. You can spend money and get the waste, or 3 zeros. No waste, no money for the site preparation, and no costs for disposal, you can get a ready-made site. Well, there are a lot of different projects. My idea is to tell you that CCI of the Russian Federation has an opportunity to do so, has enough tools. And the last thing, the next slide, please. We try to unite the statistics for OIC countries, and we got the figure. More than 75% of the waste, industrial waste, are not recycled. In Emirates, the figure is better. But talking about Kyrgyzstan, Iran, Russia, around 83% of the waste are not recycled. These waste will go out of economy forever and will damage our nature forever. Please pay attention to that. We have worked for 2 years, and we can see the increase in the interest to this project. More and more companies choose the way of the model that the CCI has chosen. The next slide, the last one. What we work on right now, on different sites like this one, in working groups, on committee meetings, on council meetings, we always say about the priority to recycle, not to drive the waste to spoil disposal. Right now, I'm promoting this idea. Then, with no government support, it is very difficult to do so, but it is possible. We are doing it, as you can see. If we tell that government bodies support this project, then it all becomes easier. Financial tools, accessibility, cheap credits, we work on that in the framework of committees, of the councils and other, and we hope to get the support from the CCI. And the legislation base, the norms, the laws, well, there are some issues, but our specialists are working on that. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm ready to answer any questions after that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anton. The only thing is, well, you should have made it in English as well so that our foreign members could evaluate and assess all the information. Well, we will do it the next time, and this time we will give you all the information. And better in Arabic and in Farsi. English is, well, losing its place right now. That's a joke. That's a joke. Right now, we use the international languages. One of them is Russian, as you know, one of the 5 languages of the United Nations Organization. Dear colleagues, I think that we used the time wisely, so we have 4 minutes for discussion. Please, dear participants, questions, comments, anything that you have and that you want to say now as part of this discussion. You're welcome.
Да, пожалуйста, Тимур.
Please, you're welcome, Timur. Okay, I will use this 2.5 minutes. I wanted to support the colleagues with a project that was presented previously, Brownfield, namely, Alexandergrad. This region is extremely interested in cooperation with this company. So we checked this project. It's not when you come to the plant, take the metal and then sell it. No, the method is complex. They have their own trains. They offer in their region, for example, in its own region, they work with road construction, all-in-one ecology and safety, labor safety, and no money from the budget of the region and or municipal body, which is very relevant for us business representatives because it makes the demolition process much cheaper. It is really difficult to reconstruct, restore the old building. It is much easier to demolish it, if you know what I mean. So the support of the business from our region, that's what I wanted to tell you. Thank you. Thank you, Timur. Yes, indeed, the information is very interesting for all regions of Russia that can hear and see us today. Dear colleagues, as I understand, there are no questions and comments from the audience, yes? Or are they? Yes, Mikhail. Well, the panel is very active today. They ask questions each other and they answer them themselves. Anton, I would like to invite you to Kyrgyzstan just to not going far away, to get to know this project better and to work together. Anton, did you appreciate that you were put the last one? Last but not least, as you know, last but not least. So many comments to you and questions. Thank you. Thank you a lot for your invitation. Yes, we are going to visit your republic. I think we will discuss it in Ilyinka. Thank you. Thank you a lot. As you can see, we are self-sufficient. Our panel is completely self-sufficient. Ask questions, answer questions, and communicate and create context. But seriously, first of all, I would like to express gratitude to every speaker today. Each of you did a lot into the success of this discussion platform. We are far away from the illusion that investment issues can be solved only with forums or such kind of meetings. But as you understand, investments need work, efforts, a lot of meetings, but first of all, trust. And meetings of such kind provide for trust. They support it. Professional and human relationships are also formed here, and I think that today we managed to do all that. Thank you all a lot, and we hope that this meeting is not the last for us, so we don't say arrivederci, we say see you next time. Dear colleagues, first of all, speakers, please, let's take a common photo here on our forum. So thank you very much. You deserve the applause from our audience. And one more time, we should take a photo for the memory in order to show this photo on our next meeting.